Jane Austen once gave herself this incredible challenge to create a main character that nobody besides herself would really like. That character, of course, was Emma Woodhouse. So, how on earth did a heroine, basically designed to be unlikable, become one of the most beloved figures in all of literature? Well, let's dive in and figure that out. And this is it right here in Austen's own words. It's a pretty clear mission statement for a really tough job. And yet, for more than 200 years, readers have been completely captivated by Emma Woodhouse. So how did she pull it off? How do we end up loving a character she wanted us to dislike? That's the central mystery we're going to unpack. All right, so let's meet our protagonist, Emma Woodhouse. On the surface, living in this charming little town of Highbury, her life looks pretty much perfect. But, as you might guess, those considerable blessings come with some equally major flaws. Yeah, the novel's very first line, famously, describes her as handsome, clever, and rich. I mean, she is at the absolute top of her tiny social world. But if you peel back that shiny veneer, what do you find? She's a snob, she's a terrible matchmaker, and maybe worst of all, she's totally, completely clueless about her own heart. And that is the real conflict here. So, where do all these flaws really get a chance to shine? Well, in her absolute favorite pastime, meddling. Emma just loves to play matchmaker. She treats the lives and, yeah, the hearts of her friends like it's some kind of chess game, all played out within the super rigid social rules of her little village. Okay, to really get what's at stake in Emma's little game, you have to understand this one key term: nobody. That's literally how the book describes Harriet Smith, Emma's new friend. See, Harriet is the natural daughter of somebody, which is a polite way of saying she's illegitimate. No family, no social rank to speak of. And in Emma's mind, that makes her the perfect blank canvas, this project for a grand social makeover. And this right here, this is the social ladder Emma is so sure she can just rearrange. You've got the gentry at the very top. That's the Woodhouses and the Knightleys. Then you've got the ambitious vicar, Mr. Elton, climbing his way up. A little further down, you have the respectable farmers like the Martins. And then way, way at the bottom, there's Harriet. The social gap between them, it's huge. So Emma cooks up this grand plan. Step 1, convince Harriet to turn down a proposal from Robert Martin, a farmer who Emma thinks is just beneath her. Step 2, she's going to basically groom Harriet, shape her opinions, her manners, the whole thing. And the end aim? Marry Harriet off to Mr. Elton, the vicar, and boom, instant respectability. It's a plan that, let's be honest, is just destined to blow up in her face. And it's this confidence, right? This absolute certainty that she knows best about everyone and everything that leads Emma down this path of, honestly, hilarious mistakes and just deep, deep blindness. One of the things that makes Austen a genius is how she uses these tiny little details. Things that might seem totally insignificant, like who has a carriage or how much money someone has. They're actually loaded with meaning. And Emma, for all her so-called cleverness, she misses these clues completely. Take this, for example. It's just mentioned, kind of offhand, that Mr. Knightley, who's this big landowner, doesn't keep any horses of his own. To Emma, this probably just seems kind of stingy. But what is it really telling us? Well, it shows that Mr. Knightley is a practical, down-to-earth guy. He'd rather walk, be on the ground with the people who work for him. It even hints that the local economy isn't doing so great at the time. He's a man who lives in the real world, while Emma, she's off living in a fantasy she built herself. And you can see this blindness to reality so clearly in how she interprets Mr. Elton's actions. He gives her a charade, a riddle, for Harriet's scrapbook. And the answer to this riddle, the word courtship. For Emma, this is it. This is the smoking gun, the undeniable proof that he's about to propose to Harriet. She sees the clue, but she reads it 100% wrong. And that whole fantasy just comes crashing down during this awful carriage ride. She's trapped alone with him after a party, and Mr. Elton proposes, but not to Harriet. He proposes to Emma. Her total shock says it all. She realizes in that horrifying moment what a catastrophic mistake she's made. He was never into her friend. He was after her and her money the whole time. This moment of pure humiliation is the novel's first big turning point. It forces Emma to finally look at her own foolishness and kicks off this really painful but totally necessary journey of self-discovery. Austen even gives Emma this perfect word for herself, an imaginist. It's not just that she has a good imagination. No, she actively builds fake realities in her head. She makes stuff up out of thin air and then convinces herself that these fantasies are actually brilliant insights into the world. So after that whole disaster with Mr. Elton, Emma is forced to see herself clearly for the very first time. And this quote, it just nails her despair. It's not just that she messed up socially. She realizes there's this fundamental blindness in her character, in her head and her heart. She feels truly, deeply wretched. And this is what leads to the book's real, ultimate revelation. After a few more romantic mix-ups, Emma finally gets it. It wasn't just that she was wrong about Harriet and Mr. Elton. The biggest thing she was wrong about was herself. She'd imagined she was in love with this dashing guy, Frank Churchill, only to realize, nah, she never really cared for him at all. The whole time, she was actually in love with the one person who always told her the hard truths, Mr. Knightley. So, okay, after all that, the snobbery, the meddling, the total cluelessness, why do we still love this story so much? Why is this tale of a provincial girl's screw-ups still so powerful? It's because, at the end of the day, Emma is so much more than just a romance novel. It's a timeless story about that messy, embarrassing, and absolutely essential process of growing up. It's about that gut punch moment when you realize you're not nearly as smart as you thought you were, and that the world does not in fact revolve around you. It's the story of becoming an adult, a journey every single one of us has to take. There's this great line from a critic, Reginald Farrer, who said that truly appreciating Emma is like the final test of being a real Jane Austen fan. And it makes sense, right? It's her most complicated, most subtle book. It really asks us to look past all of Emma's surface-level flaws and find that good, solid heart underneath, just like Mr. Knightley does. Which, brings us right back to where we started. What is it that makes a flawed character not just relatable, but actually lovable? With Emma Woodhouse, Jane Austen shows us that it's got nothing to do with being perfect. It's about having the ability to see your own mistakes, to feel that sting of shame, and then to find the courage to actually grow from it. And that is a character arc that will simply never get old.